Who made Jennifer Aniston, who had faith in eternal love, the most miserable woman in America after she became disillusioned with her marriage, abandoned her desire to have children, and became the most famously unhappy person in the world. A girl who believed in love was the subject of Jennifer Aniston's dream once. The dream was ordinary and nice. Sitting calmly on her beloved husband's shoulder, she envisioned a tiny home teeming with the joyful sounds of 4 children playing in a sun-drenched garden as she savored the tranquil pace of life. Walking down the aisle with Brad Pitt made it seem like her fantasy had come true. Then, all of a sudden, on a Sunday morning, everything fell apart. Everything fell apart for Jennifer when she opened the newspaper and saw pictures of Brad beaming with Angelina Jolie, holding the hand of another lady. The man who had once promised her eternal love was now doing just that. And they became parents, fulfilling Jennifer's lifelong desire. After years of going to sterile clinics and undergoing several in vitro fertilization, IVF tests in the vain hope that something miraculous may happen, Jennifer Aniston has now secretly given up on starting a family, because Jennifer now knows that marriage isn't always a safe haven for lovers. The media dubbed Jennifer Aniston the unhappiest woman in America in 2005 after her husband dumped her for the alluring Angelina Jolie, making her feel betrayed in the midst of her fame. The media still scrutinizes Jennifer's life in 2025, 2 decades after she had no children, no family, and no partner. Jennifer Aniston was the first love of America 30 years ago, but few remember it. A young woman whose gorgeous golden locks glistened in the light, and whose infectious grin convinced everyone that joy might exist in this world. You will comprehend Jennifer's uniqueness if you have ever experienced joy, sorrow, or grew up with Rachel Green and Friends. Her delicate beauty and the resilience that can be found in a damaged heart are all represented by her. Leave a remark below expressing your admiration for Jennifer Aniston, the former America's sweetheart. Since this is the tale of a lady who once loved and hoped, who lost everything, yet had the strength to keep living, every word you write and every expression of affection are treasured. Jennifer's path to becoming America's sweetheart was far from smooth, contrary to popular belief. Jennifer Joanna Aniston came from a long line of artists when she was born in Sherman Oaks, California in 1969. Jennifer had a troubled childhood despite the fact that her parents were performers. Her parents' divorce, when she was 9 years old, caused her a profound emotional wound. She reflected on that time and how it taught her to stand on her own 2 feet, to be practical while holding on to the hope that things will improve. Jennifer has a passion for acting during her childhood. Many famous performers got their start at New York's LaGuardia Art School, where she also studied. Her only goal upon returning to Los Angeles from college was to pursue acting. However, she was unprepared for the harshness of Hollywood reality. In order to pay for her auditions, Jennifer worked as a salesperson, switchboard operator, and server. Rejection was ever present for her. Shortly after filming wrapped on a few of the projects in which she had been cast, they were canceled. Nevertheless, she did not give up but rather viewed these setbacks as opportunities for growth. Jennifer learned something more significant than fame and endurance throughout those difficult years. In 1994, when luck smiled, Jennifer's life took a major change. On Friends, Jennifer played the role of Rachel Green. Nobody saw the show going down in history as a cultural phenomenon on an international scale. There were many similarities between Jennifer and Rachel, the girl who escaped her marriage to discover who she really was. Bold, endearing, occasionally clumsy, yet relentless in her pursuit of excellence. Her portrayal in the character won over the hearts of people everywhere. Jennifer became a symbol for millions of people as they grew up, thanks to her genuine acting and the impact she had with every grin and movement. The Rachel haircut went viral in the 90s, and women all over the world wanted one. Above all else, Jennifer was not limited by Rachel's portrayal. Following the 2004 finale of Friends, she continued to push herself with a wide range of tough roles, from romantic comedies like The Breakup and Marley, and me to dark dramas like Cake. Jennifer demonstrated that she was more than simply a comedy star. She was an actual actress, in each role where she conversed with herself. Every single American loved Jennifer by this point. Post a comment telling us what you think if this female has ever impressed you. Your feedback is invaluable to us. Jennifer became synonymous with the epithet America's sweetheart as a result of these renowned roles. Her audience loved her for her upbeat attitude, wit, and ease of speech. Her ability to make others laugh and feel loved was contagious. A national treasure, Jennifer Aniston is widely believed. Jen and Brad Pitt's enchanted love story, from first impressions to million-dollar wedding. This is the most fantastical love story ever to begin with. You and I both realize that the odds are extremely low. In 1994, on a summer afternoon in Los Angeles, Jennifer Aniston's manager introduced her to Brad Pitt, a regular guy from Missouri who had just received his first Oscar nomination after leaving 12 Monkeys. He was a simple, kind Missourian. Even though he was just a regular person, Jen remembers her voice as being filled with love. At first, it was nothing more than casual small talk and modest grins between two ambitious young professionals. Time flew by. 4 years. Subsequent partnerships were blown away by life. Jen was in a relationship with Tate Donovan. They were Gwyneth Paltrow and Brad, friends of theirs who were agents wanted to play matchmaker in 1998, when neither of them was in a committed relationship. They met at a cozy diner for their first date. The evening was exceptionally nice. According to Jen, it was a blast. As the clock ticked away 4 hours of nonstop laughter, Jen murmured to her companions, "I'm going to marry him." Brad, with his endearing grin and kind eyes, shared her sentiment. They began their clandestine romance that night, attending private parties in Malibu while holding hands to evade the cameras. It was the ideal Hollywood love song, pure, innocent, and passionate. They stole the show during the 1999 Emmys in September. On the red carpet, Jen wore a glittering sequin dress and Brad sported silver shades. They were holding hands. Something went boom with the camera flashes. The media praised the famous couple from Hollywood. Jennifer and Brad Pitt became instantly famous after that night. When Jennifer said yes to Brad's diamond engagement ring a few months later, it was the most joyful development of the year. The media dubbed them the dream couple, since they were two of the most famous people in the entertainment industry, and their relationship looked ideal. The blessings of all were sent. On July 29, 2000, a fairy tale wedding took place on Malibu Beach, marking the arrival of Jennifer's fatal day. A perfect white tent hosted over 200 guests for a 13-minute fireworks show, 4 bands and 50,000 flowers on caviar walls. Jen, in a sleek satin silk gown by Lawrence Steele, eyes sparkling with happiness, whispered her vow, "I will always make your favorite banana smoothie." Brad, in a sharp black suit, responded, "You are everything I've ever dreamed of." The wedding cost $100 million, but for them it was merely a backdrop for the sacred moment. "It was the happiest day of my life," Jen later said, her voice choked with emotion. The media described it as a real-life fairy tale wedding. At that time, it seemed nothing could hurt them. Two famous, talented, perfect-looking people. And most importantly, they truly loved each other. The early years of their marriage were a symphony of joy. In September 2000, they returned to the Emmy red carpet as newlyweds, showing off their rings, sharing sweet kisses that drove fans crazy. That same year, they founded Plan B Entertainment, producing Troy and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, turning their shared passion into an empire. "We have something special amidst this chaos," Jen said. Both recounted enjoying ice cream in bed, watching movies together, laughing like friends. The press called them America's cutest couple, while fans saw their love as proof that true love could exist under Hollywood's glamorous lights. In 2004, Jen confided, "It's time to have a baby. Despite being pregnant, I am able to work. We're ready for a family. I'm looking forward to slowing down." Brad nodded. They made plans for the future, decorated a nursery, and purchased a home in Malibu. Jen murmured to Brad, "He's the love of my life," and Brad muttered back. There was an overwhelming sense of joy and celebration when someone said, "Jen is the most wonderful woman." It was a testament to the enduring power of Hollywood love. However, fissures subtly developed beneath the lustrous exterior. The whispers about Brad's adultery started circulating in 2003, when he was occupied with Mr. and Mrs. Smith opposite Angelina Jolie. Despite Jen's best efforts, she was unable to trust due to the emotional toll that her job goals and the increasing distance were taking on her. Back then, Brad and Jen were Hollywood's ideal pair. In interviews, she maintained her faith, continuing to assert, "We've resolved all our problems." She had faith in their marriage, thinking that the affectionate stares and holding of hands captured genuine love. However, by the end of the second year, everything had crumbled. As Jen dealt with kid rumors and the media's fixation on her, Brad started filming Mr. and Mrs. Smith starring Angelina Jolie. Brad described it as new energy that they discovered on site amidst knowing smiles and action sequences. While practicing hot tango together, they discovered the delightful humiliation of touching each other, which led them to begin learning to dance together. Everything was hopeless when Jen saw pictures of Brad Pitt kissing Angelina Jolie in the Sunday newspaper. It dawned on Jen that he no longer belonged in her heart. We still have respect and deep love for each other. 3 months later, Jennifer filed for divorce, ending a seemingly ideal marriage after just 5 years, as Jen announced the breakup in an affectionate statement early January 2005. Brad Pitt's breakup with Jennifer Aniston and subsequent romance with Angelina Jolie caused quite a stir in Hollywood. The most publicized romance scandal of the new millennium unexpectedly befell Jennifer, the object of adoration for millions of Americans and the girl next door phenomenon. When Jen found out about Angelina's pregnancy while conducting an interview, it only took a few months after the divorce for things to heat up. She was on the verge of passing out from the shock. The media even went as far as to brutally question Jen. In what year are you planning to start a family? As if having children were the ultimate measure of a woman's value. Brad, on the other hand, was beaming with joy while spending the rest of his life with another woman, she who initially piqued his interest when he was still married to Jen. The best friend of Jen, Courtney Cox, later came clean about how Brad confessed to her about their attraction. Having trouble regulating his emotions, he confided in her. That is the worst thing a husband can say to his wife, particularly when her worst fears come true. Despite their best efforts to mend their relationship by going on holidays together and being cheerful in public, Jen's inner turmoil had set in. The Globe received devastating news as they eagerly anticipated the arrival of a kid. A breakup between Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston. More shocks ensued. Brad and Angelina were featured in a 60-page spread in W magazine, portraying an ideal family with 5 children, on the very day that Jen filed for divorce. The fact that Brad had the brilliant idea for this photo series was the most heartbreaking aspect. He had been Jen's spouse, holding her hand on the red carpet. Only a few months before, with his new partner, he had become the perfect parent. Brad allegedly discovered the family lady in Angelina after breaking up with Jen, who did not want children. As she carried her unborn child, Jen could only sit back and silently see pictures of her ex-husband and competition popping up everywhere. Jennifer, according to her friends, was absolutely crushed. An unresolved wound from her youth, she believed she was inadequate. Jen started to doubt her value and self-esteem due to her tense connections with her mother. Because her mother had told her, "You must be prettier. You must try harder." Jen began to distrust her own abilities at a young age. The moment Brad departed, those anxieties reappeared. "I am inadequate in appearance." He didn't remain because it wasn't intriguing enough. The Globe now applauded his new family. The world turned its attention to Brad and Angelina. The Globe waited with bated breath when the initial stolen images of Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie's Kenyan vacation appeared online. Angelina smiled softly by his side as Brad held Maddox, their adoptive kid, in the midst of nature's untamed beauty, officially confirmed. All members of their family were present. While the camera caught a tender moment, Jennifer Aniston had to endure the relentless pursuit of the media, which was the most heartbreaking part. Cutthroat questions like, "Do you feel betrayed?" and "When will you have a child?" kept popping up. Jen stayed calm, only saying, "What Angelina did wasn't right," trying to appear composed while the world dissected her heart. Then one day during an interview, a lightning strike of news hit. Angelina Jolie was pregnant with Brad Pitt's child. The reporter recounted that Jen's eyes welled up, her voice choked, and she cried throughout the rest of the conversation. But Brad wasn't the first to hurt her. Years earlier, the person she trusted most, her biological mother, had done the same. When Jen and Brad first married, her mother published a book detailing how she raised her daughter, exposing private things Jen wanted buried. Jen cut contact with her mother afterward, holding the book in her hands. She couldn't believe it. "I've never seen this. Oh my God," she gasped, then fell silent. That was the first betrayal and a wound that would never heal. Amid the pain from her mother and the backstab from her husband, Jen fell into a vast emptiness. She lived alone, only her dog for company. She began therapy, read dozens of self-help books, trying to rationalize everything. But deep down she still asked herself, "Why am I not enough?" There were nights she cried angry at herself, angry at Brad, angry at a world that made her the object of pity. But then amidst that loneliness, she began to change. Jennifer gradually realized that blaming forever cannot heal. She said in a later interview, "Every relationship has responsibility from both sides." After years of silence, they finally started talking again. Jen said, I realized holding on to resentment only hurt me more. We both had the resources to heal, so Jen wrote, "I don't want to carry that anger forever." She also asserted, "We are still complete whether we have a partner or not, whether we have children or not." So, she stopped trying to control what she had lost and stopped wanting revenge or justification. Instead, she started focusing on mending her relationship with her mother. Nobody has the right to pass judgment on us based on the state of our bodies. The cultural fixation on parenthood by women was slapped in the face by her remarks. She transformed from the stereotypical helpless mother into a symbol of strength and freedom. After that, Jennifer Aniston spoke out for the millions of women who felt pressured to conform to the "you must have children" stereotype. You can't be whole unless you're a wife. She demonstrated that society does not place a monetary value on women. There is no checklist I need to check off in order to feel fulfilled. Following the dissolution of her marriage to Brad Pitt in 2005, Jennifer Aniston began a new chapter in her career and emerged from a turbulent personal life saying, "I've created so many other things. Joy, friendship, love, and that is enough." Still and resolute, she needed to show that she could stand on her own 2 feet, away from her entourage, and that she could be successful in Hollywood without the golden pair label. Jennifer has reminisced about a time when she had to learn to be independent after her divorce. As if making art were the only way to get over it, she decided to confront it head-on through her work. Derailed, and rumor has it that Jennifer made her cinematic comeback in 2005. However, it was 2006, the breakup, that signaled her true comeback. In this novel, love and independence drive a wedge between a couple. Fast becoming a box office smash, many spectators recognized parts of Jennifer's genuine self in the character. Not only was the split financially successful, but it also proved that Jennifer was back, better than before. Stronger, more independent, and more attractive. She went on to star in a slew of fluffy romance comedies in the years that followed. Her 2008 film Marley and Me moved moviegoers to tears, while her 2010 and 2011 films The Bounty Hunter and Just Go With It demonstrated that she was still a sure bet at the box office. Despite the stereotyping of many of her co-workers, Jennifer expertly portrayed a warm and approachable character. A woman the viewers could root for and identify with. "No one else needs me," she once stated. "Being my best self is all that's required of me." That was just the beginning of Jennifer's career. Her career would get old if she stuck to comedy roles, she thought to herself. Therefore, she decided to take on a huge challenge in 2014 with Cake, a dark psychological drama in which she portrayed a lady going through both mental and physical anguish. Her performance in this role garnered her both critical praise and a Golden Globe nomination. Jennifer had already reinvented herself multiple times by the time she reached 50. In 2019, she made a triumphant comeback to television with her co-starring and producing role in The Morning Show, an inaugural series on Apple TV. Jennifer was nominated for an Emmy and won a Screen Actors Guild Award for her work on the show, which delved into the intersection between handmade-era feminism and television. She reached a turning point in her career with the character of Alex Levy, demonstrating that Jennifer's charisma and complexity were undeniably enhanced throughout her career. While doing so, she deftly adapted to the modern period, continuing to have an impact around the world through her participation in streaming ventures such as Murder Mystery 2019 and its 2023 sequel. Jennifer is multi-talented. She acts, produces, starts businesses, and promotes brands. She did it all: created a hair care business, became a brand ambassador, and helped pave the way for female-led initiatives in Hollywood by co-founding Echo Films. Jennifer remarried in 2011 following her divorce from Pitt. While filming Wanderlust, Jennifer met Justin Theroux. Their romance blossomed rapidly. In 2012, they were engaged, and in August of 2015, they wed privately at a villa in Bexar. Many in the entertainment industry saw them as an example of a peaceful, content marriage. Jennifer was described as Justin's best buddy in a previous interview. They maintained their IVF journey during their courtship and marriage to Justin Theroux, which lasted from 2012 to 2018. Theroux came clean about their many unsuccessful attempts at starting a family later on, explaining that they decided to raise dogs instead. Jen now owns a trio of canines: Dolly, the children she frequently jokes about on Instagram, and Clyde, the Lord of Chesterfield. However, in early 2018, they announced their split after nearly 3 years of marriage. After their marriage ended, they remained friends and showed one another respect on a regular basis. To this day, Jennifer has never once trash-talked her ex-husband. There are times when two decent people just can't stay on the same road, and she softly admitted that. Jennifer took her time falling in love again after her second marriage. She has already admitted that she had rethought her marriage priorities. Both of my marriages were blissful in their own special ways. I see them as opportunities for personal development, not setbacks. Jim Curtis is a writer and psychotherapist whom she met through a common acquaintance. Rumors about their relationship have circulated in the media for some time now. Unfortunately, Jennifer has never acknowledged it. Claiming to be in a great spot in life, she keeps things light and genuine. The tale of kids is Jennifer's unspoken suffering. She came clean about her inability to conceive despite trying IVF and other methods for over 20 years. "I did my best and now I don't feel regret anymore," she said in an interview. For Jennifer, not having children does not make her any less complete. On the contrary, she feels stronger and freer. She shared, "I've stopped letting society say that women must have children to be whole." Medically, although Jennifer has never publicly disclosed details, some close sources have speculated. Obstetrician Harvey Schifrin, a friend of hers, once shared that she may have severe endometriosis, a common cause of infertility. Best friend Courtney Cox also revealed that Jen had lost at least 3 pregnancies. Age was also an unavoidable factor. When she seriously began thinking about motherhood, Jen was over 40. IVF success rates dropped sharply after 35 and nearly zero after 45. Although egg freezing technology has advanced, an insider from Radar Online 2020 reported that her eggs were no longer viable after thawing. Although this information has not been verified, career was another contributing factor. In the 1990s and early 2000s, Friends was the center of Jennifer's life. She once said in Allure, "I chose work over children at that time." When the series ended, she was 35, the age when many Hollywood women begin worrying about their biological clock. But at that time, she had just divorced Pitt and was entering her solo career phase with films like The Breakup, Marley, and Me. Work pressures continued to overshadow her desire for motherhood. After her second divorce from Thew in 2018, Jennifer declared she did not need a man to be happy. She said, "I don't want to rely on anyone to complete myself." She rejected the idea of being a single mother or adopting, which many colleagues like Sandra Bullock and Charlize Theron had done for Jen. Family does not necessarily require biological children. The media has often distorted the truth. In 2006, Daily Mail published a photo of her on the beach with the headline, "Jen is pregnant," which was actually just an angle. She sued and won. In 2010, National Enquirer fabricated a story that she secretly took birth control without evidence. Most recently, in 2024 to 2025, rumors of Jen pregnant via surrogate spread from completely fake accounts. By 2025, Jennifer shared, "I am satisfied with my current life." She has completely abandoned all thoughts of having a family or discussing in vitro fertilization now that she is 56 years old, as she is unable to conceive naturally. In the end, what's impressive is that Jennifer has kept her image and attitude intact despite all the challenges. She was once the object of public scorn for her childlessness and perceived inadequacy as a single parent. However, she opted to demonstrate by her acts that "I am happy regardless of who else defines it," rather than respond. The carefree Rachel grin has faded from Jennifer's face. This is the grin of a strong, independent woman who has been through the pain of loss and is content with her life. Plus, Jennifer Aniston has experienced the exact opposite of what she expected. She may have sobbed and suffered in 2005 when she witnessed Brad Pitt's betrayal. Like her, Brad Pitt's life was engulfed in sorrow. Following his 2005 divorce from Jennifer Aniston, Brad Pitt began an intimate and public relationship with Angelina Jolie, whom he had met on the set of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Being both stunning and giving, they became Hollywood's most influential pair in no time. Their romance appeared ideal. They were the model of a perfect family as they raised 6 children, 3 biological and 3 adopted, while volunteering all around the globe. Their official French wedding in 2014 was a touching moment that went viral, as the kids drew inspiration from their mom's wedding outfit. However, Angelina filed for a divorce in September of 2016, just 2 years after the marriage ended, citing the well-being of the children as the reason. The world's media shifted their attention to the divorce right away. Tragically, Brad's perfect dad image was broken by rumors about family problems, particularly following an incident he had with his eldest son Maddox on a plane. He was subject to alcohol testing, rehabilitation, and a temporary loss of custody. After admitting it was the lowest point in my life, Brad sought help from Alcoholics Anonymous, in order to beat his drinking and start again. The court case between Brad and Angelina is far from over, even after all these years. They fought over who should get what assets, including the French vineyard Chateau Miraval. After 8 long years of separation, they finally formalized the divorce at the end of 2024. While Brad acknowledged a sense of relief, he couldn't shake the grief that came with remembering how perfect everything had previously been. Sometimes things fall apart, not because anyone is wrong, but because they are no longer right. An interview he gave the impression that Brad's connection with his children is currently quite strained. Several accounts indicate that he hardly communicates with his older children, including Pax Zahara and Maddox. In 2024, Shiloh Jolie, his biological daughter, who was formerly considered his miniature version of himself, legally dropped the surname of the Pitt, leaving merely Shiloh. Although he refrained from openly expressing his reaction, this deeply hurt Brad. An insider expressed his sadness but acknowledged the decision's validity. He has visitation rights with the younger children, but meetings are few because of Angelina's caution and his hectic schedule. At this point, Brad Pitt is attempting a fresh start. He divides his time between Europe and Los Angeles, where he works on film productions featuring famous athletes and artists. The jeweler Ens de Raman, who is nearly 30 years his junior, is another woman he is seeing. Brad is happier and healthier than before, according to his relatives, and Eanes helps him relax. Still, he seems depressed whenever he's in the spotlight, an individual who had possessed all things, now focusing solely on preserving inner tranquility. Last but not least, Jennifer Aniston's secret struggle with parenthood is probably what makes people feel sorry for her the most, rather than her broken relationships. After trying in vitro fertilization, IVF, and every other option for over 20 years, Jennifer finally had to face the reality that she was destined to be a mother. She once said, "No one knows what I have been through. Now I've let go and I feel at peace." These words testify to a woman who was misunderstood, labeled selfish for choosing career, but in fact fought quietly more than anyone. Her marriage with Brad Pitt, seemingly a fairy tale, turned out to be a short chapter in her long life. But Jennifer never held bitterness or resentment. She sees it as a learning journey rather than a failure. Perhaps that is why today at 56, Jennifer is still beloved as a symbol of resilience and freedom. A woman who knows how to rise, smile, and live her own life. What about you? What do you think of Jennifer Aniston? Leave your thoughts below, and don't forget to follow the channel to explore more real stories behind Hollywood's glamour.